3 days ago, my husband and I went to his parents' house to visit for the weekend. His sister is a college student and was home for the summer, so we got to see her too. Since they have a lakefront property and the weather was very nice, a lot of our time was spent at the lake this weekend. And some very weird things happened. For some background first, I've always kind of gotten an off vibe from my husband's younger sister. When we were dating, it seemed like she would find any excuse in the world to avoid me. And when we did interact, I sensed some hostile undertones pretty much every single time. I brushed it off as just me maybe not clicking with her or misinterpreting her. And still, when we got married last year, I included her as one of my bridesmaids, and low key, she was a huge pain in the butt the entire experience. My other bridesmaids told me she made snide comments to them that made them quite uncomfortable, was huffy during the bridal shower and wedding rehearsal, made weird faces at the decorations, and pulled weird faces when she ate the cake too. I still brushed it off as maybe just her personality and just left it at that. At the lake, though, a number of events occurred that was kind of unsettling to me. On the day we arrived, my husband's sister had invited a number of her own friends from college over, and the group of us spent some time together in the water. At one point, we all decided to have a big chicken fight, and at first it was quite fun and lighthearted. And then a bunch of people, including my husband, broke away to do their own thing, and his sister turned to me and said, "Let's do another round." With her other two friends left in the lake and asked to get on my shoulders. I said sure and knelt down under the water to let her up. But instead of getting on my shoulders properly, she got on top of my head and wouldn't budge at all when I tried to move her. I couldn't get her off of me or even get my head up to breathe for what felt like a long while. My head was being squeezed between her thighs, and I was seriously panicking by the time I managed to dislodge her and bring my head up to the surface. What's weird about it was the other two weren't even paying attention to any of this or even participating in an attempted chicken fight at all. My husband's sister didn't say anything to me when I came up to the surface, just kind of gave me this weird sort of chuckle and got out of the water. I was noticeably shaken and trying to catch my breath, but I assumed maybe this was just some sort of an accident. I tried to act fine and didn't say anything. My husband's parents have a Sea-Doo that they let those of us with a boating license use. I don't have a boating license, so it was mostly just me riding behind my husband with him at the wheel. My husband's sister offered me a ride though, and I didn't want to say no, thinking maybe this was a chance to bond with her. So I agreed to it. I I told her the Sea-Doo still made me quite nervous though, and to take it easy if she could. She definitely did not take it easy. She took any and every opportunity she could get to jump the Sea-Doo off of wakes of boats that passed us by, doing sharp turns at high speeds like crazy, and I found myself having to cling to her for dear life throughout the ride. There were points where we both nearly fell off the Sea-Doo with how wildly she was driving it. Again, though, I didn't say anything about it and acted fine because I thought maybe she didn't realize how fast it's going. Later, my husband's dad yelled at her for attempting to splash my husband with the Sea-Doo while he was in the water. Their dad told her it was too dangerous to try to ride close to people in the water like that because she could have run him over. About an hour or so, it was just me in the water with my husband's sister on the Sea-Doo, and she drove that thing within a couple of feet of me just to turn and splash me with the water. Way closer than she ever got to my husband when she did it to him. I laughed it off, but again was inwardly freaked out. That brings us yesterday at dinner. I have a serious dairy allergy to the point where even ingesting just even a little bit can be a risk of causing anaphylaxis. My husband's sister contributed a big pot of tomato rice and told me there was no dairy in it, so I could have some. I trusted her and helped myself to a portion of it, But shortly after eating it, I had to excuse myself because I started feeling extremely ill and wound up spending the rest of the night puking my brains out. I felt super faint and took a lot of effort to breathe. Thankfully, I had my EpiPen if things got bad enough, but still, the whole experience was just awful. The explanation I got later was that my husband's sister finished the tomato rice with butter to make it creamier and then forgot she put it in there before serving it to me. It seems like it could have been an innocent mistake, but given the combination of everything that had happened this weekend, I'm starting to feel suspicious that it's more than just that at this point. I don't know if I'm overreacting or just being a paranoid mess because of this huge accusation, but I can't help but feeling suspicion that maybe my husband's sister is genuinely trying to harm me. I feel like I'm going crazy.